Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion in the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I've spelled it out here. Here, I'm going to discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of the day's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Eight of Wands. And it's here for a reason. It's here because it correlates in astrology with that first 10 days of the sun's transit here in the land of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign. Wands in Tarot are fire element symbolism. And fire element symbolism is about spark, drive, initiative, motivation, the desire to act, the will to act, and it's sort of the things that we are trying to achieve through the actions that we're making, right? So here we have the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands really represents a moment of momentum. A moment of momentum, I love that. A time of momentum or a feeling of initiative, a feeling of momentum, a feeling of being driven forward on the path that we have chosen for ourselves, okay? A clear blue sky, a really easy terrain to cross, and nothing getting in the way of our ability to achieve what it is that we have set out to achieve. So with that drive and determination on our side, with that joyous sense of initiative, we can just go forward. Also, what comes up for me sometimes with the Eight of Wands is if we're not yet feeling that momentum, that sense of momentum is about to come in. Some information that will sort of spur us into action, or sort of a go-ahead that we need in order to sort of complete the path that we're on. Okay, so if you're not feeling the momentum yet, I mean, Sun and Moon in Sagittarius, I would hope that we're feeling the momentum, but if you're not feeling it yet, it is coming in, okay? Be on the lookout, be on the feel out for that sense of inspiration and initiative that'll help you feel like, yes, I can move forward with this and it's gonna be easy for me. And with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over. Oh, we got the Five of Wands. Okay. Wands and Wands. Okay. So fire and fire. And Five of Wands is really sort of about, in that Wands is about taking initiative and having a will to act that moves us forward toward an achievement. Five of Wands to me sort of represents a moment of getting held up, right? You see that these people in this picture, each one has a wand, okay? So each one has this sort of fire, this will to act, this determination to get something done, to move forward on their path. They're all even dressed a little bit different, right? Like we're all playing on different teams. And, we'll notice that while there seems to be a little bit of a struggle here, it's all hitting above that belt. It's all sort of just an engagement of ideals and drives. And, it might feel a little bit rancorous. It might feel a little bit difficult and challenging. But really, it's just there to remind us sort of where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are. It's a little bit like competition, right? Competition isn't always necessarily bad for us. We just can't, be constantly engaged in the competition. Sometimes we just have to, grab our will to act and move forward. So, yes, on one hand, it can be very informative to find out where our strengths are in relation to the other people who are sort of on the same route as we are on the same path of initiative or momentum that we're on. And yet, on the other hand, we want to make sure not to allow ourselves to get slowed down by this need we feel to sort of spar with other people about what it is that we're determined to do. And I just noticed this. This is interesting. A couple of these people are wearing those masks that we learned to wear that we have learned to wear during the COVID pandemic. And a couple of these people are not wearing masks, okay? So it's possible there's just some disagreement there. And again, my invitation here is not to get bogged down in the disagreements we have with people who sort of want to tread the same path but have different ideas about how to go about doing it. And sort of disengage from the fight once we have tested our strength, and to take advantage of this momentum that is on offer to us. So where do we see the Five of Wands here on the page? Well, I mean, Mars and Gemini is a really good place to start. Mars is retrograde, and let's take a look. Mars is retrograde, Uranus is retrograde, Chiron is retrograde, Jupiter is now direct, Neptune is retrograde. It will be the next to go direct either later this week or sometime next week. And all these other planets are moving in the regular fashion up there, okay? So Mars is retrograde in Gemini. Mars in Gemini, you know, is not as direct as it would like to be. Mars is like, you know, I have a will to act. I'm going to just sort of execute this plan and you know, grab my trophy, grab my wand, my achievement, and then move on to the next thing. But Mars and Gemini is like, yeah, no, we might have to try it two different ways. We might have to, you know, collaborate with somebody to make to get the action that we want, and we might have to, you know, have a couple of different ideas even about how we might approach what it is that we're trying to do, how we might get involved here. So perhaps there is a little bit of collaboration that comes with the sparring, because we pick up other people's ideas. We pick up, you know, ideas about what their strengths and weaknesses are, not just our own. And then Mars in retrograde in Gemini is really just like frustrated action. It can be a very frustrating feeling. We want to take action. We want to move forward. We may even be aware that it takes some collaboration, or we may even be aware that we're going to have to try and try again. But with Mars retrograde, it just feels like a slowdown. It feels like our initiative is being sapped from us. So, you know, that's represented here, I think, in this slowdown and our energy being sort of taken away from us, you know, toward this sort of little conflagration, this little tussle that we're having with other people here. So, you know, there's that. And then also, you know, this is a time, and that's indicated here too, to sort of reflect on what we're doing and how we're approaching it, right? How we approach taking the actions that we're trying to take, what kind of actions that we take, whether they're working for us, right? Whether the collaborations we're engaged in are working for us, whether the plans we have made are working for us to be able to move forward, whether our traditional ways of engaging this sense of initiative and momentum are actually working for us. Because if they're not, now's the time to reassess our action mode, right? So we can really slow down and give some thought to sort of how we go in pursuit of our goals, and, you know, see what has not been working for us, what has been causing this frustration, and therefore sort of reassess and reinvent the way we approach these things, right? And, you know, I could see that, like, if you find yourself on your path of initiative, on your path of momentum, on the thing that you're trying to achieve, you're taking action to achieve, if you find yourself constantly getting sort of bogged down in these struggles with other people who are on a similar path, then it might be a good time to sort of reassess the way you approach these things, right? Maybe there's a plan we can make to collaborate with these people that we've been fighting with, or maybe there's a plan we can make that will help us just to avoid getting into this sort of fracas in the first place, okay? So that we can take advantage of the momentum that we have on our side and not get slowed down by other people's ideas about what we should be doing and how we might be getting in their way. And put together with the Eight of Wands, you know, again, this looks like momentum, and this looks like strength being sapped. This looks like full speed ahead, and this looks like, oh, I'm going to slow down and have a chat with these people I disagree with. Okay, so when you have the baton and you are running with it, when you have the sort of the green light to take action, what are you doing with that green light? Are you dithering? Are you you know, stopping to brag? Are you stopping to you know, engage others in conversations or sort of arguments about the momentum that you're trying to conduct? Are you what do I want to say? Are you hesitating? Are you delaying? Are you procrastinating on the actions that you need to take? Well, you have this all this momentum on your side. Sometimes when we have a lot of momentum on our side, we think, sort of like the tortoise and the hare. The hare is like, oh, I'm so much faster than that tortoise. It won't matter if I just stop here to take a nap, right? And in the meantime, the tortoise is getting ahead because the rabbit is sleeping, right? So, in this case, I think the advice would be to strive not to act like the rabbit and allow ourselves to get slowed down or take a break when we have all this momentum on our side, okay? When no matter how quickly we are able to move forward while Mars is retrograde in Gemini, asking us to slow down, asking us to reflect and review, and asking us to collaborate and have a couple of different plans in mind, okay? That's already enough, all right? But also, take the initiative and momentum where you can get it, all right? When that arises, when that opportunity to just roll forward arises, don't be sort of caught off guard and off balance and not paying attention, or just sort of lazily allowing some of this this time that you're being given to pass, in the name of being able to sort of sit here and defend yourself or talk yourself up or sort of establish superiority over other people on a similar path. And I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.